Good evening, guys. Am I audible? Okay. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. Then we'll be moving more on OOPS concept in Java. Good evening, Kushi, Nikhil, Muthu, and Mr. Zero V. Hi, Vamsi. So, guys, come on, how is the Josh? Are you people eager to learn about OOPS concept in Java, or are you people very happy about the fact that the sessions are ending by today? And yesterday, many of you have asked we could use any IDE like Eclipse or VS Code or IntelliJ. So today I'm going to use Eclipse. No worries. The same code only you'll be doing it in online compiler also. So you can try it by using Eclipse, or also you can, if you are very comfortable with IntelliJ, you can go for it, or you can even use VS Code. Yeah. Today we'll be discussing more about the concepts, OOPS concepts, and then we'll be seeing about the collections in Java. Because the reason why I'm handling collections is it will be very useful. Like mostly we'll be using hash map in competitive programming, and in some places we do use things like hash set and tree set, and also we'll be using array list many more. Array list is somewhat it is related to, or it is similar to arrays only. Good evening, Bishesh. So guys, come on. So have you all installed Eclipse or IntelliJ? Because you people asked in order to run the Java code in any IDE, right? So okay, so without any further delay, we'll be going to the concept. Good evening, everybody. Yesterday we have seen the introduction to the OOPS concept. There I have explained the concepts like what do you mean by inheritance and polymorphism. We do have a method overloading and method overriding, which corresponds to runtime and compile time polymorphism. And we do have concepts like data binding and abstraction. So today we'll be seeing more on coding part. We'll be seeing more on the classes and objects part. Then I'll be moving into collections. I'll be telling you people about the array list concept, the hash set, hash map. So yeah, can we start the session, guys? So come on, say like how many of you have Eclipse ID with you, or you have downloaded it, and how's the Josh? Four pillars of oops, yeah. Okay, so let's create very high. Great. So first of all, we'll be seeing about the throw and throws concept. Okay, uh, I mean, I forgotten her name. She asked about the difference between throw and throws concept, right? So in exception handling only, we'll be using throw as well as the throws concept, and we are going to define the exceptions which we want to, like which we want to display. For example, yesterday we have performed arithmetic exception, right? So in that we gave something as int value is equal to 100 by 0, and when we are trying to print a value, uh, a number which is divisible by 0, it corresponds to the arithmetic exception. So whenever I'm giving arithmetic exception, I can also display the message which is to be printed. And one more thing, see, C++, oops, and Java. Sure, I'll be telling you. Yeah, they are saying the throw is being used explicitly from the method. Okay, so we'll be using throw inside a method, and throws we'll be defining in the method itself. I'll be showing you the example here. If you see here, they are actually calling the method check num. Here, if the number is less than 1, they are going to throw an exception, throw new arithmetic exception. Number is negative, cannot calculate its square. So here, we are going to create a new object for the arithmetic exception. Okay, and it is going to be thrown. And one more thing, I'll be telling you, I'll be also showing you the example. When I'm giving throw here, okay, I'm calling the method, and only the throw exception is being thrown. After that, I'm going to print some statement system.out.println and rest of the code. It will not be getting printed. So in the output, if you see, the exception is only thrown, but the next line after this exception, which means when we're giving a print statement, it is not being executed. Wait, I'll be coding it. Don't worry. And whenever we are using the throws concept, we are just going to give while defining the method itself. So we know how to define a method. We are going to give the access modifier, whether it is public or private or protected, and we are going to give whether it is a static method or not, and we are going to say the data type which it is going to return. Okay, and we are giving the function name and the parameters. Here itself we will be giving the throws arithmetic exception we are going to throw. Okay, and in this case, you see in the try block, they are calling this particular method. They're calling this particular method. The exception is being thrown, that is being catched in this catch block. Okay, and this line is being printed. I'll be showing you an example. So people, if you do use Eclipse, you can open your Eclipse IDE, and first of all you have to create a package. Okay, so I'm going to create a package, new. I'm not going to follow anything like naming convention and all. I'm going to create a class inside it. Let the class name be mm, student. Okay, so here I'm going to give the demo for the, is my screen visible? Yeah, I'm going to give the demo for the throw and throws object. So I'm going to write how many oops are there in Java. Oops is not something like the number of methods. Oops is just a concept, object oriented programming language. It's actually a concept where we'll be using the concepts like classes and objects. It's not we do have many key concepts that is involved in oops. Oops have four pillars in the sense. With these four concepts only, we'll be saying that a particular language, it is based on object oriented programming language. Okay, so in a try block, I'm going to give something as, I'm going to define a method. Okay, int. So here, let me create a method int divide 0. Okay. The main advantage of using Eclipse is you will be prompted with the available functions. E- um, then need a print stack trace. Hmm, okay. So here I'm creating in the main method, I'm in the try block, I'm calling the function divide by 0, and I'm specifying the method as the return type is void, and I'm going to pass in the parameters a and b. If either a is 0 or b is 0, I'm going to throw an exception, throw an arithmetic exception, and in the arithmetic exception, my message which is to be displayed will be either a or b is 0. Okay, and again I'm going to catch this exception in the catch block. Let's see what it prints. Okay, whether the message which I have given here or whether it is going to print the default message, and in the last statement I'm going to print exception is being handled. And in order to execute your code, either you can give right click, run as Java application, like this also you can give, or you can also give it as alt shift plus x is the shortcut, and you have to select run Java application. Okay, the message which is being printed is either a or b 0. Okay, as well as the exception here it is being printed, and also it is being the exception and handle message is also being printed here. uh, Throw keyword is actually why it is used means we can display the message which we want when an exception is being thrown here. If an arithmetic exception is being encountered, I'm going to display this error message. Okay, whereas when you're not using throws keyword, we cannot rename anything here. So this is about throw. The throw keyword will be used inside the method. This is the method I'm going to use inside the method, whereas whenever I'm going to use the throws method, I'll be declaring in the declaration of the method itself. Here itself I want to declare throws arithmetic exception. So now I'll be printing. Mm. So here, whenever I'm using the throws exception here, uh, I mean listen properly. Okay, I'm calling the function in the try block. It is going the method is going to return an exception. Okay, whenever we are using the throws keyword, I'm only this method is being printed, and the error that is being captured in the try block is not catched by this catch block. Did you people notice that? Whenever I'm using the throw keyword, also the message which I'm giving here is being displayed, and also the error, we are having an error code in this try block, right? It is also being catched in the catch block, and the general exception is being explained. Okay, the general exception is being displayed, and also this last part. But whenever you're using throws keyword, we should use it in the method declaration itself. So only this statement which I have given is being printed, and it is not being catched in the catch part because the exception is being handled, and the pointer comes to the system dot println part, and this is getting executed. So if you note the difference here, Okay, now the message which I have displayed is being returned in the output. But whenever I'm using throw here, both this part and the catch block is also getting executed. So this is the major difference between the throw and the throws keyword. Usually we'll be using only in the exception handling part. Okay, guys, are you clear with this? Are you clear with the difference between the throw and the throws concept? Throw and throws both are used only in order to define a user defined exception. Explain it one more time. Okay. So see, it's very simple. Okay. Whenever we are giving throw here, I'm writing a method divide by zero. I'm giving the AS3 and the BS0. Obviously, when we divide any number 3 by 0 means will be the error will be coming, and we are going to catch the error in the exception part. Okay. Now this pointer goes here. Okay, in this method, it checks if A is 0 or B is 0. In this case, my B is 0, so I'm going to throw a new arithmetic exception, and the message of the exception must be either A or 0. Okay, either A or 0 is B, and it is an user defined exception. I'm going to define the message that is to be printed in the output screen whenever an exception is being handled. That's it. Okay, and after the exception is being handled here, again this exception is going to be handled by the catch block. In the catch block, I'm just going to print the exception. What is the exception we do notice in the try block, and this final statement will be executed. So if you see here, one second. If you see here, um, the first line, either A or B is 0 is being displayed. This is the message which I want in the output screen whenever I'm noticing this. Whenever I'm noticing this exception, and I also want to this exception is being handled by the catch block. So here it comes to the catch block, and here it is printing the in which line number the error is being handled. Okay, and last exception is handled. This general statement is getting executed. This is in the case of throw. When I'm using the throws keyword, whenever I'm using throws keyword, see what happens. The pointer goes to this method. This method tells that if this is the case, this method is going to throw some arithmetic exception. Okay, in if it is going to throw any arithmetic exception means we are going to print this line, and the pointer does not come to the catch block because the exception is being handled, and straightly it goes to the println part. Okay, now this e.print stack trace is not being executed when we are using throws because the exception is handled in this method itself. This is the main difference between throw and throws. But usually we'll be using throw in generic meaning. Throw and throws keyword are used in order to modify the exception message. Okay, guys, cool. I mean, if you're not understanding this also, no issues. Usually we won't be using try catch block in competitive programming, but whenever you are writing any software with the help of Java, or whenever you are building a Java project, that time if you are having if you are facing a state like this code might produce some error, you will be producing you will be having that block in the try block, and you will be catching that exception. That's it. Okay, so is that clear, Maha? Just now remember that throw and throws keyword, it is being used in order to define the exception by ourselves. Only the message is going to be altered, nothing much. So are you people clear with the difference between throw and throws concept? difference between the arithmetic operators between in C and Java. Mostly the arithmetic operators are same in various languages. Whenever you're going for C, C++, Java, Python, the arithmetic operators are same. Okay, but the thing is, only the syntaxes will be different. But when you, in the case of arithmetic operators, all will be same. Okay, and one more thing, it doesn't matter the which language you are gonna use. Only the thing which matters is the logical thinking, which means how we are handling the problem, in which way you are approaching the problem, and you are building the logic. Because in any language you can code if you are getting the logic, but the thing is you do have different syntaxes whenever you're going to different languages. In Python, the syntaxes will be very simple. Whereas in Java, you have to remember certain keywords or certain syntaxes. Okay, and when it comes to C, um, people don't use people usually don't use C because whenever we are going for any competitive programming and all, right, for example, if you're going to use concepts like stack, okay, or I'm going to define a linked list, do you people have idea about stack or linked list? We use throw and throws to give exact exception to the users because user don't understand exception like null. Yeah, of course, that's what I was trying to say. Because in order to make our code, readable to the users, people who are unaware of the exceptions concept, they don't know what the exception is correctly. So with the help of throw and throws code, whatever we are going to do is we are just going to modify the exception message which is being displayed to the user. That's it. Yeah, okay. So stack and heap. So we do have concepts like stack, queue, and recursion. No, we don't have any session on recursion. Other. Okay. So stack, queue, and we do have concepts like linked list. All these things. Whenever you are writing code in C, you have to create each and every method in order to, insert an element in the linked list. When you want to delete a node, you want to create a method, and for defining the linked list itself, you want to create a structure and you want to do all the things. Usually competitive programmers don't go for C, will won't go for C because as it's a structured programming language, okay, you have to define all the variables and all those things. So in C++, we do have predefined methods for handling the linked list. We'll be using the concepts like vector. If someone studied DSA, they know about stack, linked list, binary. Oh, okay. So it means that you study DSA every day, Bishesh. So this is the major difference between the throw and throws, okay? Mm. And guys, in order to see the resource materials, the content is very good when it comes for Geeks or Java T Point. So today I'll be taking the article from Java T Point, and I'll be telling you the concepts, okay? Because it's not like I won't want to refer any resources, and I want to teach you. In the sense, I want to cover all the things. Not every day in my college. Okay. SQL, please explain. Yeah, I know SQL, but this is Java class. For the last 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I'll be telling you about SQL. Okay. Yeah. And people who have asked about the pattern printing problems. I think Bishesh only asked about the pattern printing problems. I'll be. So you can go for the pattern printing stiver sheet, and here you'll be finding all the patterns, like which will be asked in interviews. And if you practice all these patterns itself, it's fine. So these are the different patterns. This and all are very simple. Okay, so there are almost 22 patterns will be there if I'm not wrong. So if you are practicing these patterns, you'll be having uh, more knowledge, because when in some companies they'll be asking even pattern printing problems, you'll be able to crack it. And also you'll be getting some confidence when it comes to nested loops. Okay, how to return array in return statement, sure, we'll be doing that. See, if you want to return an array, you want in the method, no, you want to give the return type as integer array. Public static, the method will be, okay, print array. Int. Okay, so other, okay, so you have asked how to return array in return statement. Okay, so here what I'm doing is I'm going to define a method. So same story, public static, the return type will be an integer array. So you have to write the array type, as well as you have to give a square brackets because we are going to return an array. Okay, array is my function name, and I'm going to pass two parameters inside the method. Okay, now I want to create an array here of size 2 because I'm going to assign the first two elements as A and B. I'm going to assign it, and then I'm going to return the array. I'm going to return this array. Okay. Here, as it is an array of integers, I'm going to again store that array of integers into another array of integers. So I'm declaring an integer array of name res, and I'm assigning the method. Here I'm passing the parameters as 1 comma 3, and I'm traversing the array res, and I'm printing out the elements here. Is that fine, Athar? I mean, Vishesh, like you're giving a more history on Oracle and SQL are both owned by Oracle company. Okay. Guys, SQL, when you come to SQL, it means structured query language. You are actually going to query the data in the database, and you're going to retrieve it. And we do have several things like SQL, MySQL, MS SQL, Postgres, and MongoDB. MongoDB all comes under NoSQL. NoSQL in the sense, I mean, I don't know whether it's a Java class or SQL class. Okay, so in SQL, MySQL, and Postgres and all, the data will be stored in the form of relations, which means the data will be stored in the forms of rows and columns. Okay, but when you come to MongoDB, the things will be stored. The unstructured data will be stored because we do have data. We do have three different types of data: structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. Okay, so how many of you know about the concepts like JSON, JavaScript object notation? Okay, in JSON, the data will be unstructured format because I mean, the one data will be an integer format, one will be a type of date time, and one will be in array, something like that, or one will be an object, means the members of a particular JSON entry. Okay, and which program, Shubha? This program. And in JSON, usually it is stored in the form of keys and values. So this is I mean, what is SQL? SQL means you're just going to query the data in the database. We do have many SQL statements like insert, create table, insert, update, delete, and drop table. So these are all, this is something, an introduction to SQL. Okay, yeah. See, here I'm just going to pass two parameters A and B into a method, and I'm going to assign the values of the array, and I'm going to return the array from there, that method. So here, in the print array method, I'm passing the parameters 1 and 3. Okay, and in that method, I'm going to create a new array. I'm going to assign the first element as A and the next element as B, and I'm going to return an array. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to store the returned array from that method into another array named res, and I'm going to traverse the res array and I'm going to print it. This is just a simple example for demonstrating how to return an array. Okay, now is it fine, Subha? Vishesh, that's fine. Now we want to learn Java. Okay, come on. Um, so okay, so yesterday I have told you about inheritance, data binding, polymorphism, and just to have the first object-oriented programming language is I don't know how to pronounce it, Simula or Simula. I don't know more on Simula and Smalltalk and all. Just you, I mean, just to know. That's it. The first truly object-oriented programming language is Smalltalk. Okay, so Java, C++, Python, C Sharp, PHP are some of the languages which to use object-oriented programming concepts. Okay, yeah, sure. So first of all, whenever as I have said yesterday, object means a real entity. Okay, and the OOPS concept is to design a program using classes and objects. In classes, it will be a blueprint of an object. Okay, so we do have concepts like inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation. Okay, collection of objects is called a class. Mm. See, abstraction in the sense, let's say, as I have already said, I'm going to send a message via WhatsApp. Okay, so I'm going to send a message via WhatsApp. So I'm using WhatsApp. What I'll do, just I'll take my mobile. I'll be entering the text which I want to send, and just like that, I'll be sending it to you, to the people which to whom I want to send the message. But only I am able to access the functionality of that software WhatsApp. I don't know how the internal mechanisms or how the internal processes is being carried out. Just I know how to use the app, but I don't know how that app really works. For example, in real time scenario, we do use many apps like Instagram. Okay, we don't know how the videos are being Instagram is a very special app because it actually matches with our mood, right? So we don't know how it does or the internal mechanisms how it is being processed. But whatever is exposed to us, we in Instagram we just see the videos and it is an entertainment a social media app, right? We just do have access for accessing the functionality, but we don't know how the functionality is being implemented in an internal manner. This is about abstraction. Okay, encapsulation in the sense we are going to wrap the code as well as the data. Think encapsulation as means something like capsule. Okay, in this capsule, usually the medicine will be encapsulated, right? So similarly we are going to bind the code as well as the data. Okay, so this is all about encapsulation. Okay, so they are saying association, it means the difference between the relationship between the different objects. For people who know more about the database concept, like we do have relationships like one to one, one to many, many to one, and something like that. And as I've already said, this is the advantage of using OOPS over procedure oriented. And there is a difference between object oriented programming language as well as object based. So JavaScript and VB script, it comes under object based because they do have all the object based concepts except inheritance. Okay, so this is all about the introduction to OOPS, and next we'll be moving into classes and objects. So let me okay, so these are all the real world objects. So for example, if I want to create an object car, I'll be creating the instance of a method and I'll be creating it. I'll be showing you an example of how to. So defining class and creating an object for that. And in Java, an object is created with the help of new keyword. Okay, so people, do you know about keywords in any programming language? Keywords means nothing, like nothing in the sense. Keywords means the words which do have a reserved meaning, and the meaning, it will be predefined by Java or by the particular programming language which you are using. So yeah, I'm going in the class student. I'm going to create two variables: int name of the student, and I'm going to print int marks of the student. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to have two variables. Okay, um, we have seen the different types of variables. Can anybody recall what are the different types of variables, and what do we call these variables as? What's the name of these variables? We do have a special meaning. Yeah, class fruits. Good, other. It's instance variables. We can call it as instant variables, or we can call it as also the parameters or the members of the class. Okay, now logical global, actually instance is the correct keyword. Local in the sense, we are going to use some variable inside a method which is local. Okay, yeah, I'm going to create a new object for this class student. S1 equal to new student. Okay, so this is the general syntax. See here, I'm defining my class name. Here my class name is student, so uh, I'm defining it as student. S1 is the object name. So here S1 is not a variable, S1 is an object. Okay, and with the help of new keyword, I'm going to create uh, like a student object. Student is again the class name, and we do call, and one more thing, this is not a method. Okay, this is an constructor. We'll also be seeing about the constructor. This is the constructor, and this is an empty constructor. Okay, yeah. So this is all about how to create a new object. Okay, let's say now I'm going to assign the values to this name as well as to the marks variable. So uh, only thing in which way I can access the instance variables of a particular class, or the methods which are I'm using in a class, I'll be able to access it only with the help of the objects. So s1 dot name equal to s1 dot marks equal to, oh, I have given, guys, you did not notice it. I have given int name. It is string name, right? Now I'm going to print s1 dot name and s1 dot marks. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm creating a student class, and I'm mentioning the instance variables. Okay, I'll be having two instance variables, name and marks. In the main method, I'm going to create an object for the student class. So this is the object. This is not variable. S1 is not a variable here. S1 is an object. Okay, and an object will be created with the help of new keyword. And this is not a method. This is the class name, and this is a constructor. We'll be seeing more on the constructor part. Okay, sure, I'll be using parameterized constructor also. This is just in order to show how a class and object works in a simple manner. Okay, so this is an empty constructor, and all the, as I've already said, all the variables, instance variables, and the methods which are defined in a class will only be able to access when we create an object to it. So I have created an object s1, and with the help of this object only, I'm going to give the values to that instance variable. So s1 dot name, I'm going to define it as Kirti, and s1 dot marks as 50, and I'm going to print s1 dot name and s1 dot marks. Even you can have multiple objects, you can create multiple objects to a particular class is something, as we have said, a collection of objects. So here I have only one object which I have created. I'm going to create a second object. It's very simple, just the same syntax. Mm, okay, s2 new student of. Guys, did you people understand this code? Because if you understand this only, the further concepts will be very understandable to you. And it is the concept of classes and object is quite very important. Mm, here s2 dot name, s2 dot next. Yeah, we can pass, Mahalakshmi. We do have different type of constructors also. There are many types of constructors: parameterized constructor and default constructor. Okay, whenever you are creating a class, default constructor is created automatically. Okay, so I mean, even you can pass values inside the constructor, or you can even yes. No, we cannot use system. We cannot pass system.out.println. Let's try it, but we cannot do that. We cannot do that. Yeah. Okay, guys. So, is it clear to you? See, this is a very simple program in order to explain what is a class and what is an object. So, as I have already said, class is a collection of objects. So, we have two objects created over here. uh, I mean, we have created a single class, but we can create multiple objects. So that's why we are saying class as a collection of object. And here I have given only variables, but here I can also have a method also. Okay, so I'll have a method here. So okay, see here I have printed it by using system.out.println, right? I have printed the name as well as marks by using here in the main method. Now I'll be creating even that functionality in a print method or display method, and then I'll be calling that method from the class itself. uh okay, public static void display int string. An object can only be created if you're using new keyword. Okay, otherwise it's not an object cannot be created without using new keyword. Okay, so here a question will be coming to you people. Okay, I have just in the class I have just created an instance variables, and I have just created a method called display. I'm not even like passing this the values which I'm giving here to any particular method. See, the value is not being passed anywhere here, but how that value will be retrieved as name or marks. So we should also have to create a method assign where we'll be passing the parameters in the constructors. Okay, but here I'm not going to use constructor concept. I'm just going to use the concept of method, where I'm going to create a method in order to assign these variables the value which the user enters. Okay, and I'm going to just display the value that the user enters by using another method called display. So int. It's not int, it's string. Guys, are you able to follow me? So I'm going I'm going to call this method with the help of the object assign. I'm going to assign. So this is to assign the values Kirti and 50 to that particular method called assign. And in order to display, I want to give, sorry, for display why I'm passing. We don't need to pass any we don't need to pass any mm, static reference. Yeah, we can use this and super keyword. So we'll create one object and see if it works. Name is null and marks is 0. Okay. Assign is just a method which I'm going to write. Okay, guys. So here I'll be telling you. In the previous example, I have only created instance variables and I have created the object in the main method, and I have assigned the values of the name and marks in the main method, and I have printed it in main method itself. Now I don't want to do all these stuffs in main method. I just want to create an object. I want to call a method assign, and in the assign I want to pass the parameters or the values. Okay, just I want to pass the parameters, and I just want to create I just want to call a method display which displays the information about that particular student. Okay, so what I'm doing is here I'm writing a method of void data type where I'm going to assign. Okay, and inside this I'm going to pass two parameters, name as well as marks. Here, in order to in this example we have the instant variable name, also name, and the name of the parameter which we are going to pass is also, we do have name. So this super word, this keyword, this keyword, this is a keyword which we'll be using in order to differentiate between the instant variables which is already present in the class and the parameter which we are going to pass through. So this dot name, it tells that this name is the variable which is associated to this class. So this name variable corresponds to this name instance variable, and this name corresponds to this, the parameter which is being passed. In order to differentiate that only, we are going to use this keyword. So this dot marks, I'm going to assign the name and marks here, and yeah, you can use getters and setters method. You can use, but as a beginner, if you are a beginner in Java, by writing all these methods in your own, because get set and all, get dot set are predefined methods. Okay, but as a beginner, when you write all those get set methods by yourself, you'll be having somewhat much understanding. Okay, and I'm going to create a display method where I'm going to display the variable name and marks. So here in my main method, I'm just going to create an object s1 and s1 dot assign. Assign is the method here. I'm going to pass parameters inside the assign method, and I'm just going to call the display method which is being displayed in the student class. So is this program clear to you guys? So next we'll be moving on to inheritance. In inheritance, what I'll be doing is I'll be having a different class, and okay, only Bishish and Mahalakshmi is very active today. Shubha, yes. So next inheritance, I'll be telling you what do you mean by inheritance, and we do have multiple type of inheritance. In inheritance, we'll be having two classes and a base class or a parent class. In the child class, we'll be deriving the properties and attributes of the parent class. Okay, so this is all about classes and objects. Let's see anything is there more. Okay, so here I have written in a single class, right? We have we have defined only one class. You can also have multiple classes. Class student is the multiple. You will also teach how to create project. No, I won't teach. This session is only to handle the core Java part, Sanskar. Okay, so here, constant people. Here they are creating instance variable for the student class. Okay, for the student class, and also what they are doing is they are creating another class test student one. In this student in this I mean in this class only they are having the main method, and they are creating an object for this class. Are you getting me? In the sense, whatever we have done here in a single class, they are splitting the classes. In one class, they are just having the instant variables, and in another class, they are just having the main method. That's it. So we do have three types in order to create an object: by using reference variable, by using a method, by using a constructor. Okay, so this is what I have taught you. I'll check whether anything is left. Okay, so the same example, you can have multiple cases like this is in order to maintain the records of an employee. This is in this way only you have to implement a requirement, or which if a problem is put forward to you, this is the method. Okay, so it changes here. See, in the instant variables they are using instant variables as id, name and salary. So here we do have used name and marks, which is of name of string type and marks is of int type. And here also they are writing an insert method. See, here they haven't used this keyword because the instant variables and the parameters does not have same name. Id is equal to I. If we are going to specify id is equal to id, we have to give this dot id is equal to I, and this keyword is usually used in order to tell the user that, or tell the program that this method belongs to this, sorry, this variable belongs to this particular student class or to that particular class. In terms of super keyword, we'll be using super keyword when we come to see the inheritance concept. Super means it is related to the parent class. Okay. So these are all the different ways. I have just taught you about the new keyword. We do have several methods like instance, clone, a deserialization factory method. Clone is a default method. Just if you give arrays.clone, it will be getting clone. Okay. Sure, I'll be explaining. Okay. Next, we'll be moving on to inheritance part. Okay, next. I'll tell you about the constructor and then here this itself is a constructor. Okay. Constructor is in the sense we are going to call the class itself. Whenever you, as I have already said, whenever you are going to create a class, automatically Java creates a default please explain this keyword. Sure. See, um, okay, I'll be telling you the introduction to constructors. Okay, so in constructor, whenever you are creating, whenever you're creating a class, automatically default constructor is being created, and only with the help of constructor we'll be able to access that object. So here I have created a default constructor, which where I'm not going to pass any parameters, and I have created an object. Okay, static to. Okay. Uh, this keyword Sanskar, we do have variables as name and marks. Okay, and in the parameters also I'm going to have the same uh, variable name and marks. So in order to differentiate the instance variables and the variables which I'm going to pass in a function, I'm going to use this keyword. So if I'm specifying this dot name, means it corresponds to this instance variable. I am referring to this name variable. Wait, if I'm giving yan, this is equal to your correct current object reference. If I'm giving like this, means I don't want to specify this variable at all, this keyword at all. Okay, did you note the difference? So here my parameters and my instant variables are different. They don't have the same variable name. Okay, so we cannot do, I mean, it is not advisable to use this keyword here, and if you're not using this keyword here also, the program will be running. Okay, but if you're having the same variable name as parameter as well as the instant variables, we will be using this keyword in order to tell that this name keyword is the current object reference for this particular class. Is it clear? In Eclipse, like Java selecting class, as a beginner you should not use Eclipse, okay, because everything will be predefined here. Hmm. Uh, like Java selecting class and clicking. I haven't created that. I mean, could you be more specific on that, Bishesh? Whenever I'm going to create a constructor, I will be writing it on my own. I won't be using any, I mean, default functionality and all. Okay. So a constructor name, these are some of the rules for a constructor. Constructor name must be the same as the class name. If my class name is student, then I should have my constructor name as student only, and it is case sensitive. Okay, constructor is something we are going to create an instance of that particular class. Okay, it should a constructor will not have any data type, return data type. Okay, a constructor is somewhat related to method, but the difference here is method will have return type, method will have return statements, but constructor will not have return statements, and constructor will not return anything. Okay, and cannot be static. Okay, so there are two type of Java constructor. One is default constructor and parameterized constructor. This is a good example of default constructor. Mm, in NetBeans. Okay, I'm using Eclipse. In Java, we can insert code like constructor getter setter by clicking class name. Okay. Uh, so here I have used default constructor, and in order to show the example for parameterized constructor, um, so this is a very simple example. So in the main function, I'm just going to create an object for the bike class, and in the bike class I'm going to define the constructor, and I'm just going to print, I mean, the bike is being created. This is the syntax of how to create a default constructor. So you may ask, okay, what's the difference between, like this and this? Both are looking same. So constructor is not a method, but constructor will be somewhat related to method, because in method also we'll be passing some parameters and we'll be doing assigning things. Here I have used method. So here I'm going to assign the values for name and marks variables, and in this method I'm going to print all those things. Same can be done with the help of constructors also. Okay, but the thing is constructor will not have any return type. So this is the example for default constructor. So I'm going to create a constructor student default constructor. I'm going to print. Okay, as I have given a default constructor, whenever I'm creating an object, the student method will be, I mean, the student constructor will be created, and inside the student constructor, I have asked the program in order to print it, so it has been printed. So default constructor is clear to you guys. Yeah, constructor name always same as class name. Yeah, constructor is something creating, creating a copy of the class, or it is something related to creating an instance of a class. Okay. Static keyword. Yeah, I'll be saying you an example for static keyword. The default constructor is used to provide the default values to the object like null depending on the type. And if you're not you are creating this default constructor also, Java creates for you. But if you want to specify what the default constructor should return you, so here I'm specifying whenever I'm calling this default constructor, the print statement must be executed. That time you have to create a default constructor and you have to specify what the constructor must do. Are you people getting my point? So automatically whenever you're creating a class, a default constructor will be created by Java itself. But if you want to specify what the functionality does the default constructor must do, you want to again create the student, I mean, again create the default constructor, and you want to give the block inside what it has to be done. Okay, default constructor. So in Java parameterized constructor, we are just going to pass the parameters, into this code. Okay. So I'm going to create same. I'm going to I have a instant variables name and marks. I'm going to pass my name as and marks as 50. Okay. And here I'll be having a parameterized constructor. It states that string name int marks. And also it is advisable to give marks as a float value, because we do have there could be chance of getting decimal scores also, right? Scores which is in decimal format, so better go for float. Okay, so this dot name is equal to name, and this dot marks is equal to marks. Now I'm going to create a method here, and I can simply give void also, void display. Okay, I'm going to call the, I have created an object S1. I'm going to call the display method with the help of the object. So dot display. So it is being displayed. Okay, so in the previous example, I have assigned the values for the instant variables with the help of a method. But in this example, I am going to define the values of name and marks with the help of the constructors. And we do call the name of the constructor as parameterized constructors. Are you people getting it? Are you people able to follow? And parallelly, I want you all to do with me. Guys, come on, respond. Like, are you people able to follow? And how's the Josh? Yeah, good. And I want everybody to, reply. Are these concepts looking dry for you? We can go for double if you use float. We have to explicit conversion because if you pass 50, just assume we said that. In float also you can give. The thing, no, whenever you are being more specific on using data types, it also depends on the requirement only. Uh, if somewhere, let's say you are going to store a value in double, no, the precision is after decimal point you can store up to 15 in Java. After a decimal point, if I'm giving float, I can store up to 7 places. In the sense, I can store 15 point 2 3 4 5 6 7. I can store this, but in double, no, the precision is 15. After dot, I can store up to 15 values. Float of 6 precision. Let us check. Double as 15. Okay. So float has 6 as precision and double as 15. Sorry. And thanks, Bishesh. So, guys, are you clear with the concept of constructors? And this is how you will be creating a default as well as a parameterized constructor. And next, we'll be looking into the concept called constructor overloading. Okay, constructor overloading is nothing but, we are going to create two constructors which have the number difference in the number of parameters. Okay, so I'm going to give an ID, int ID. Okay. This is my one of my constructor, and next constructor I'm going to create it as student int ID name. Guys, are you able to follow me? Name and int marks. I'm going to give this ID is equal to. And you have to know the concept of oops in order to clear the LLD round. Are you people aware of LLD round? Low level design. In order to crack the interviews, in some companies they'll be also asking you in order to create applications, a console based application. So in that time, you are supposed to create all these classes and objects. For example, they'll be asking you to create a console based application on ticket booking or railway reservation system or hotel management, something like that. Okay, so only one display method they're having. Let's see. I have created a first object for this constructor, and next object I'm going to create. Emart, dmart. What is it? I know dmart only. I don't know about. I don't know what is emart. No, dmart is not a technical term and all. We do have stores, no dmart. Okay. So here, I'm having two constructors here. Dmart is nothing. This is Dmart. So it's a, I mean, it's a shopping complex kind of thing. After completing our course, are you asking us interview questions like interviewer? No, no, that's none of my business. I'm just here to teach you the concepts. Okay, guys. So here we do have uh, two constructors. One constructor has only two parameters which is being passed into it, and next has three parameters which is being passed into it. Now I'm going to create an object s1 and s2, and I have only a single display method where I'm going to display the id, name, as well as the marks. Okay, so I'm going to create two objects, and with the help of the display method I want to know about the information of that object which I have created. So when you see the output, I'll be getting something like this. And here for the first input, 0 is being assigned because there is no id which is being mentioned, right? So it defaultly it assigns 0 to it, and this is the concept called constructor overloading. Okay, so people are clear with constructor overloading? Mostly, um I think in interview they'll be asking only about method overloading and method overriding. And so yeah, so this is the key difference between a constructor and a method. Okay, constructor is actually used in order to initialize the state of a particular object, and method, we know, in order to expose the behavior of an object means it tells about the properties of a particular object. Explain this again. Explain. I mean, I want to explain the constructor overloading concept. Method overloading and overriding we'll be seeing next. We do have only constructor overloading. We don't have something called as constructor overriding and all. We cannot override a constructor. Okay. So we know a constructor will not have a return type, but method do have, and it is invoked implicitly, and methods are invoked explicitly. Uh, yeah, as I already said, the Java compiler it provides a default constructor if you have not created anything, but a default method will not be provided by the Java. And as we have said, constructor name must be same as class name, and method name can vary. Okay, so next we'll be seeing about method overloading and method overriding. No, inheritance I want to show now. Inheritance is a mechanism where I want to retrieve the attributes and the properties of the parent class. Okay. So, I mean, these are all the theory part. We'll be using extends keyword for implementing the inheritance concept. Okay. So, this is how an Java inheritance works. So, here I'll be having, okay, static keyword, I'll be explaining that. Okay, so in the inheritance concept, we do have an base class. So here employee is the base class. Okay, and I do have a variable, instance variable called salary, which is a float data type. Okay, now I'm going to create a child class programmer which inherits the properties of the employee class. Now, I have inherited the programmer class from employee class, right? So now I'll be able to access the variable salary even in the programmer class. Okay, so this is how an inheritance works. So now we'll be, seeing this example. So I do have two classes. Okay, I'll teach. Public class, we'll be having something called college. Okay, so here I'm going to give in salary. Hmm? Okay, 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 sorry, I cannot create can create only one class here. Okay. Okay, let me do a thing. I'll test it here itself. Guys, why I'm not doing this in Eclipse is I have created only one class named student, right? If I want to inherit a class here, I want to create another class and then only I think we can do. Wait, I'll check. Mm, class, it is class name college. Okay, so in salary, in my student class, I'm going to extend. In my main method, I'm going to create an object. Uh, okay. So, guys, did you understand what I have done now? So I'm just going to uh, inherit the class student from college. Okay. Once again. Okay. So I'm going to inherit the class student from college. So here my college is the base class. Okay. And in this class I'm going to give the instant variable as salary. Okay. Now I am not defining any salary. I'm not declaring any salary variable in my student class, but I want to access that salary variable. Okay, so as I have extended the college class, I can use it here also. So here I'm going to create an object for the student class, and I'm giving the value for the salary, and just I'm printing it. Are people able to follow me? So when you see here, I'm not even creating an instance variable called a salary in the student class. I have created it in another class. I have created it in college. Okay, by extending the class student from the college class, I'll be able to access the salary variable which I have created there here also. So here what I'm doing is I'm going to assign a value to that salary variable and I'm just going to print it. So this is all about inheritance. Guys, are you people clear with it? And this is what they have done here. Okay, they have created a class called employee, okay, and a programmer class which extends the employee. Okay, here they have given the variable salary, and here they are giving the variable bonus. Now whenever we are creating an object for the programmer class, we will be able to access the variables that is present in another class. This is not another class. This is the parent class. P dot salary. Are you people getting what I'm saying, or they won't explain it again? Clear. Great. Guys, what about others? See, it's very simple. Okay. In one class, we are not going to define any attributes or methods, but from other class, we want to use that methods or variables without declaring it. So what we'll be doing is we'll be just extending the properties of the uh, other class. The class from which the properties are being retrieved is known as the parent class. From this class only we have retrieved we are using the salary, no? So this is the parent class and this is the base class. In compare in, I mean, online compare you can run as such, but whenever you are going with the Eclipse ID, you want to create, you want to see to it that you are creating both the classes. Sure. So in both the classes, I mean, both the classes must be in a single package, okay? And we must create both the classes separately. And then if we are using extends keyword, means it will be getting extended, okay? This is all about inheritance in Java, and you can go and see deep about the types of inheritance, okay? Um, Single inheritance. So here, what I have done is called a single inheritance, okay? I'll be showing you an example of multi-level inheritance. uh this is single inheritance means I'm just going to create two classes. From one class I'm going to uh, use the attributes in another class. Multi-level means it will be in a hierarchy manner, okay? Sorry, it will be not in hierarchy, in the sense it will be in a sequence manner. From class A I'm going to extend the methods for class B, and from class B I'm going to use the attributes in class C. And hierarchy is something we'll be having a common class, okay? Class A, and class B and class C will both be extending the properties in class A. Yeah, multiple inheritance is supported only through interface. Multiple inheritance is not supported in Java via class. We'll be using the concept of interface in order to give an introduction to interface, because I mean, in 2 hours we cannot cover complete oops and all, okay? Next, fatafat we'll be moving on into method overloading and method overriding. And while coming to say about the interface, we'll be using interfaces mostly whenever we are developing any applications, or whenever we are using Java in real time projects. For example, interface is something, it's the blueprint of what and all classes we have, what and all methods we are going to create, the variables which are being used in a project. Let's say I'm going to like I'm going to create a train reservation system. uh, I want to have, I mean, we'll be having something called index, right? Or the contents. Whenever we are preparing any project report, or whenever we are preparing anything kind of project, we do have index, where in the index we'll be having the contents of the document, right? So interface is something like that. In interface, we'll just be telling that I have used this method. We'll be declaring the methods there, or we'll be declaring the variables there, but will not be assigning the values to it. It doesn't have any definition, or we won't be assigning any values to it. Please, example on extend method from another class. Yeah, so this is the extend method. I have created a class college, okay? Very simple example. I have created a class college, and just I have given an variable. I have said I'm going to create, I mean, declare the variable salary with int data type. And in another class, like I have extended the student class, I've given extends keyword, and now I'm going to access the all the methods attributes which is present in college. So in college, as I have only one variable salary, only that variable will be able to be, I mean, I will be able to access it here. So I'm just creating an object for the student class, and I'm assigning the value to the salary instance variable, and I'm just printing it. And one more thing, uh, whenever you are I mean, you can even apply inheritance to an interface and a class. But the thing is, a slight thing is, whenever you want to retrieve the properties or the methods, the attributes from one class to another class, you'll be using the keyword extends, okay? But whenever you want to inherit the properties attributes from an interface to a class, we'll be using the keyword implements. Multiple inheritance, hybrid. Okay, so next we'll be seeing about method overloading and method overriding, and if time permits, we'll be seeing about the collections, okay? And people, I want some data from you, in the sense, uh, can you let me know about in which semester are you there if you are a college student? Because I want to give a short introduction to various coding platforms like Lead Code, Code Chef. coding ninjas or geeks for geeks. It's not for advertising and all. I'm just telling you people how to use lead code, or how you can equip yourself in DSA. Okay, so first sem, other great, seventh sem. Okay. You're from which college? Um. Okay, fifth sem. Okay, method overloading will be somewhat related to constructor overloading only. Okay, here whatever we are, the different ways to overload the method is, we'll be having two methods which have a different number of parameters. For example, let's say I'm going to have a method name will be the same. Okay, but in one method I'll be having two parameters which will be passed into that method, and in another method I'll be having three parameters to be passed. University College of Engineering, Viluppuram. Okay. Um. Okay. We'll go student itself. Mm. I'm going to create a method. Let's say void display. Okay, I'm going to pass. I am from Janjyothi Multiple Campus from Tribhuvan. From which state are you? In marks. So same example which we have done for constructor overloading. Okay. Um, display. Okay. Void assign int id. This dot name. Guys, are you working parallelly with me? And I am going to create another method with the same name. Okay, which have only two parameters. Mm, I'm going to display the ID, name, and marks. And I'll be creating two object. And I'll be calling the method assign with the help of the object s1 dot assign. In first thing, I'll be giving and people you have asked about. You're from Nepal. Great. Oh, okay. So, Athar, you have asked about the keyword static, right? So, here see the example. Okay, so here I do have a class adder. Okay, and I'm having a class just overloading one. Now, uh, I'm creating a static method. It's not only a method, it's great, great, Bishesh. You're giving your own introduction. Okay, so I'm going to create a static method by just mentioning the keyword static. Okay, the main thing for creating a static method is, if you're giving a method a static, okay, we can directly call the method. Here they haven't created any object. Okay, static int add, they're giving a method. Here they are going to return the sum of a and b. And another method they are going to return a, b and c. Here in another class, in the main method, they want to access the methods of the adder class, but here they haven't created any object. They have just called the function adder class name dot method name add, and they have just passed the parameters. This is the difference between, I mean, this is the use of static keyword. If we are using static, uh I mean, there is no need of creating an object. Okay. But here only one thing is getting id 1 s2 dot assign. Athar, are you clear? Are you clear with what I said, or else I'll be showing an example? Nothing. If you're using, I mean, if I'm using static, I can call it as um this is not needed. Cannot use this. The class name student dot assign. Okay, and here student dot assign. So and then I want to call the display method also, right? I have assigned the values. I want to call the display method. Clear, great. Student dot display make, yeah, here also to give static. Non-static. See, I'm getting an error because whenever I'm giving a static method, also my variables that is being used inside a static method must be of static type. So here in variables also I want to specify it as a static variable. Okay, I think it will work fine. Oh, static. I think 0 null 0. Mm, let's see if it works or not. Or guys, if you could find what's the error also, you can tell me. Okay, so whenever we are using static keyword, if we are using parameters as well as the instant variables name as same, we are getting null as the answer. Okay, because we are not allowed to use this keyword whenever we are using static methods. So whenever you're using static methods, see to that the parameters as well as the instance variables must not have the same variable name, and even the parameters that is inside, sorry, not parameters, I mean the variables which are going to access inside a static method must be a static variable. Okay, if I'm not giving static here, but it's saying we cannot use this keyword. Wait, I'll be showing you. This dot id is equal to, let me go with this example. See, I'm giving id and I'm also giving name here. Okay, I'm giving this dot id is equal to id and this dot name is equal to name. But here the error is being printed saying that cannot use this in a context, static context. Static don't have this. That's the reason. Okay. So are you people clear with the static concept and the concept of method overloading? Hmm. So this is method overloading, and I'm not sure whether it is runtime or compile time polymorphism. So I'll check it. Other name for method overloading, runtime polymorphism only, I guess. Compile time polymorphism. Okay, so method overloading is also known as compile time polymorphism or static polymorphism or yearly binding. I don't know what do you mean by yearly binding. Okay, so the other name of method overloading is compile time polymorphism. Guys, are you clear with method overloading and static variable? And whenever we are using static method, see to that the variables inside the static method must also be a static variable. And the difference is whenever you are creating a static method, it is I mean you are not supposed to create an object. You can directly access that method by calling its name. That's it. Okay. Athar, are you clear with it? And what about others? Are you able to follow me? Next, we'll be seeing the method overriding concept. Yeah. Okay. Great. What about Maha? And today Kushi is not active in many people. Shubha, is it fine? Clear. Okay. And whenever you're coding using Java, whenever you are encountering error, I mean, recording listens. Can we recording? I mean, whenever you are, doing some project using Java or some other language, whenever the error is being prompted, uh, just read the description of the error, okay, or the warning which it is given, and try to resolve that. What about static block, ma'am? This is static method, right? This is a static method. Static block in the sense we do have static variables and static method only in Java, and also we do have static class. Okay, so when coming to see about the method overriding concept, there are some rules. Okay, the method must have the same name as in the parent class. The method must have the same parameter as in the parent class. Yeah, yeah, it will be available as it's a live session. It will be available, guys. Okay, there must be an inheritance. Okay, in order to in order to apply the concept of method overriding, you want to have inheritance, and method overriding is nothing but see. For example, say I'm going to create a method here. Okay, public void run. This is the example which I have used while I learned. Method. Okay, so let's say it is a parent class. Okay, I understand, ma'am. Okay, so method overriding is nothing but I'm going to override the definition of a particular method, or I'm going to override the content or the functionality of a particular method. In this in this college class, I'm going to have a method named run, and whenever I'm calling that particular method run, it should only print parent class. Okay, so I'm defining it as whenever I'm calling this run method, the thing which is to be prompted is the parent class. Okay, but I'm going to change the definition of this the same method in my child class. Let me show you. extends college. Okay, so here I am going to change the definition of the same run method. Public void run. Here I am asking the run method to print child class. Let's see what happens when we are creating an object and when we are uh, I mean executing the run command. Hmm, okay, I want to create an object and I'm going to call the run method here. Okay, let's see what it is going to print. Child class. Okay, what I have done is I have overridden a method. Okay, so I have defined a method named run and I have defined the description or the block as to print parent class, but I have overridden the functionality of the same method in my child class. So whenever you're creating an object for a student and whenever you're trying to access the run method, you'll be getting only the definition which you have overridden child class. So this is all about method overriding, and method overriding is also known as runtime polymorphism. Okay guys, did you understand about method overriding? And usually the method overriding and method overloading concepts comes under the polymorphism concept, because polymorphism in the sense I have said a same method or a same variable can have two different functionalities. So when we take here, good, uh, we are having the same method run, okay, but in different classes the functionality is different. In college class the run method is used in order to print parent class, but in student class, the same run method is being asked to print child class and it is performing that. Is it possible to uh, override a main method? No, it is not possible. I think it is not possible. Wait, we'll check. Is it possible to? Yes, it is possible to overload the main method in Java just like any other static method. The JVM will only call the run main method with the signature when starting a program. Network issue. Okay, okay, Kishi. So guys, we can three main. So here overload a main method in a program, but the thing is, your program or your coding starts only where you have this line, and your Java code is nothing without this line. Okay, so wherever even if you overload main methods, in the main method which has this statement public static void and string args will be getting executed first. Okay, clear? And thank you for the question, Athar, clear? So you can overload a method, main method, but the thing is, whenever you're overloading, only the definition, the JVM checks for the path public static void main. So whichever main method has that, it will be getting executed first by the JVM. Okay, great. Next, method overriding, and this is all about. So next, can we go for I mean, collections in Java? I'll be telling you about the array list collection. Okay, array list and hash map, and then we'll wind up the session. Okay, so array list is nothing but it is something related to, or it is related to Java arrays only. Okay, so access modifier. Access modifier. See, we do have four type of access modifier, and I'll show you that table. Wait. private, protected, public, and default. Yeah. Okay. So it is just to there are not much thing to say. See, this table says everything. If you are um protected and default explain. Okay, I'll be explaining all the four. So if you are going to use a public variable or a if you are going to use a private variable or a private method, uh, that method is accessible within the class. Okay, but within the package, it is not accessible. For example, here within the package, I'm giving, here I'm specifying private means. Okay, only in this class I'll be able to access that salary method, a salary variable, as it is a private variable. But in my student class, even though it lies in the same package, I will not be able to access it. And access modifier just tells you, as the name suggests, it is just in order to tell you if you're using this particular private or default or protected keyword, whether that particular variable or method will be accessible within the part or not. So uh, only the private variable, only it will be accessible within the class, but it will not be accessible outside the package or outside package by subclass, nothing. Okay. Whereas whenever you are giving default within class, you'll be able to access. Okay. Within class, you'll be able to access, and within the package, if you're having multiple classes also, you can use the same default variable. Okay. If you use main as per private program, couldn't execute. Public static void main is it is something like a mantra, or it is something like a default thing. A main method can if in the previous session itself I have said, right, only the use of giving the main method as public is, then only your JVM will be able to like search for the main method, and it will be able to compile and execute it. If you assign the same value of private variable to another, then it will be accessed or not. Yeah, it will be accessed within a particular class, but you cannot access it anywhere outside. Look, it is something like you're asking, you're going to change some value. If you assign the same value of private variable to another, yeah, we'll be able to access. Yeah, JVM want public thing, because whenever JVM checks your entire code, for example, see, I'm going to write only one main method in this package. When the JVM wants to run all these files, and it will be checking only for that main method. When your main method is not public, whenever it is private, then the JVM will not be able to access it. So every time your main method must be a public one. Okay. And whenever you're using, yeah, code will compile but will not be getting executed, because the code will be getting compiled and it will be converted into Java bytecode, which means a class file. But after converting into class file only, it goes to the JVM concept. There, the whenever the JVM engine, it tries to look for the main method, look for the public static that method, it won't be able to access it. Okay. Now whenever you are using a protected keyword, um it will be accessible within the class, within the package also it will be accessible, and outside package, but the same subclass, it will be accessible, and outside package we won't be able to access it. Okay. Outside package, in the sense, it's nothing but I'm going to create, so these are all different packages which I have. So if my variable is private or default or protected, see here I have created an integer variable, a salary variable. I cannot access that salary anywhere in this packages. That is what they are meaning. I think in JDK 22 PSTM is not needed. I don't know about it. I'm not sure about it, Bishesh. And whenever you're giving public, a public method or a public variable will be accessible from any part of your program, whether you're using outside the package, whether you're using within the package, or whether you're using within the class, it is accessible everywhere. Okay. That's why if you are writing any you are supposed to know the functionalities of access modifiers, because whenever you are creating a Java project, or whenever you are asked to create a LLM, LLD, okay, low level designing and all, depending on the requirement, you have to use the variables. For example, I cannot I mean, I want to create a login system using I mean, classes and objects concept. I cannot, like have my password variable as public, right? I cannot have. I want to have the password variable as private only, because it is something and information which should not be leaked, and it must be a secured one. So I'll be going with private. So this is the case. So now, are you fine with the access modifiers, Bishish, in JDK 21? I don't know whether it will be able to decode public static void main. Okay. The public static void main method is no longer required in Java 21 because of a new feature called the instance main method. Okay. Yeah, you're correct, Vishesh. Okay. So, I mean, are you able to follow, guys, access modifiers? So, as we are running out of the time, I'll be concentrating on array list. Okay. Hash map. See, in order to tell what is a hash map, okay. Hash map, like you'll be storing the elements in terms of key and values. Okay, and in arrays, if you want to access the array, or if you want to traverse the array, if you want to search for a particular element, we'll be using indexes, right? Similarly, in hash map, all the iterations, or if you want to access a particular value element, only we'll be able to access with the help of the keys. And keys must be unique whenever you're giving a hash map. Keys must not have duplicate value. Keys must be unique, and like indexes in arrays or array list, we do have keys here as index. Only with the help of the keys we'll be able to traverse it, access it, update it, everything. Okay. Now array list is something related to array only. Okay. Now I'm going to, in order to use Java collections in your project or in your code, you want to import java.util.star. Or see, here in my example, I'm just going to use array list, so I'll just include array list. That's it. Okay. um hmm. Colleges, it's not needed. Public static void main string args. Now here, I want to create an array list object, right? So for that, my syntax will be array list. Array list is something related to arrays. Okay. Like in arrays, we'll be storing a collection of elements of same data type, right? So in array list also we are going to do the same. So here I want to specify the data type of elements which I want to store in the array list. So I'll be storing integer. Okay, I'm going to store the integer elements here. Integer. My array list name ARR is equal to new array list. So this is the general syntax. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to in order to add a particular element in an array list, we do have functions like dot add, arr dot add. I'm going to add the elements 34 dot add. We can string the size of array list, but in array not possible. Yeah, in array, like you want to define the size of the array which you want. If you want to define, even if if you're defining the array size as 5 and you're going to store only 3 values in your array, the remaining 2 spaces will be left blank. Okay. Whereas in array list, it is something kind of dynamic array. Okay, we don't be specifying the sizes at the first itself. So now I'm going to print the size of my array list. In arrays, we use array name dot length. Here we'll be using array list name dot size. So here size is 3. Okay. Okay. Size of the array list is 3. So if I want to, if I want to print the array list, just system.out.println. That's it. My array list is being printed. Is this fine, guys? Array list. So we do have many, Java collection classes. We do have things like hash map, hash set. As I have said, in hash map, we will be having key value pairs, okay, and everything will be accessible only with the help of keys. In hash set, what's the difference between hash set and hash list? Okay, see, hash set stores only unique elements. Okay, for example, see, Fatafat, I'll be doing an example. I'll be giving star because I want to have both array list as well as hash set. So the key difference will be hash set also. I want to specify the data type of the elements to which I want to store. Set is equal to new hash set. Let's add this. I have added to the array list. Please print specified index element in array list. Sure, I'll be doing that. The elements in array list is okay. I'm adding 34, 34, 10 in the array list. But in the hash set, I'm adding the same. Let's see what happens. 34, 34, and 10. Okay, let's print. Hash set only stores unique elements in it. Okay, so in array list, I can have duplicate of an element. So whenever I'm trying to add 34, 34, 10 in an array list, it is getting added. But in an hash set, I'm adding 34. And again, whenever I'm adding 34, it checks whether 34 is already present or not. If it is not present only, it will be getting added. Otherwise, it's not. Okay. This is all about the difference between array list and hash set. For the question where Athar was asked, in order to print specific indexed element, we'll be using get. Okay. I'll be running a for loop for int I is equal to 0, I is less than array list dot size I plus plus plus. So ith element is arr dot get of the index. Okay, 0th element, first element, and second element. Now, is it fine, Athar? So this is all about, not all about, this is about, I have given just an introduction about the collections in Java. We do have many collections concept. Wait, I'll be showing you. This is my ID. Okay, Vishesh. If you people have any doubts, you can also, tell me in LinkedIn. Ask me in LinkedIn. It's Kitna hyphen Jyoti Ramesh Kumar. Okay, yeah. Collections in Java. We do have many things here. And people, yeah, if you have any doubts, you can ask. Now I'll be showing you what and all the different collections we have. This is the entire collection framework which we'll be using in Java. And we do have array list, linked list, vector and all will not be using, but we'll be generally using array list, linked list, stack, DQ, priority queue, array queue. I haven't used it. Hash set, tree set. Okay. The difference between a hash set and a tree set is, let's say I want to store. Give me one example. Hmm. reset integer. Guys, if you're having any doubt, you can ask. Otherwise, with this program, we'll wind up the session. Okay. So I'm adding in the set. I'm adding 34, then 5, or yeah, and 10. Okay. But when we add that in tree set is something which is very similar to hash set, but the thing is in tree set whenever you're adding the elements it will be automatically stored in the order of ascending order. Okay. Tree set. Okay, so I'm adding the elements in the same order only, 34 5 10, 34 5 10. But in hash set whenever I'm trying to add, it's getting added, but in tree set it is getting added in an ascending order. That's it. So both hash set and tree set holds the how to traverse hash set of integer type using for each loop. Actually, wait, using for each loop we. Array, but you will not thank me for taking the session. Huh? You're just thanking me. Okay. For counting similar subarrays, can we use hash set? Similar subarrays. Yeah, you have to use hash set. Okay. Locate shuttle, as your question was, to traverse a hash set with the help of for each loop. You'll be giving for the data type integer, the iterator dot set name. Yeah, fine. Yeah, in collections, we use generic data types than primitive data types. If you are using primitive data types, it won't work. We have to use generic data types. It won't work. You have to give generic data types. Okay. Okay, guys. So this is all about from my side for today's session, and I know you people will be very happy because today we are winding up. Why you used integer instead of int? In collection framework, whatever data types we are using, it must be a generic data type. Okay, we cannot use primitive data type in collections. I don't know what might be the reason, but the thing is whenever we are using collection framework, we are supposed to use, we want to use only the generic data types. Okay, like integer. For storing int value also I am supposed to use integer only. Okay, so this is the thing from my side, guys, and advance happy Independence Day to everybody. And thank you for cooperating with me for all the 4 days. If you're having any question, just let me know in this chat. Otherwise, we'll wrap up. How was the session, guys? And did you people learn something on Java for all these 4 days? So have you learned the concepts? Do you have a feeling of getting satisfied? Happy Independence Day, Kushi. Advance Happy Independence Day. Suggest coding platforms for competitive programming. You can use platforms like Lead Code. I do use that. So Lead Code, then Geeks for Geeks, then Coding Ninjas, then HackerRank, then CodeChef. Or you can also use TLE eliminators or Grokkings. And I mean, I'm not advertising anything, but I generally use Striver's DSA sheet uh, for competitive programming or for learning purpose, and I do use TLA eliminator sheet. Thank you, ma'am, for providing us entertaining class. Entertaining class. You made the class entertaining, I guess. Or what to do after learning Java? After learning Java, like you can go to various coding platforms like Lead Code and all, right? So you can solve the programs using Java. So here I have been solving programs only using Java. So in the sense you can learn to code. I mean, you can solve problems. You can immerse yourself in DSA using Java. You just go to coding platforms like lead code code chef and start solving the problems, and in the language no you can use Java if you are comfortable. Okay. And people, if you have any questions, we can tell me in the chat, or else we'll wrap up. And thank you for thank you for all the session, thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for providing a valuable time. And with your questions I also learned a lot. So thank you, people. Have a nice days.
Thank you, ma'am, and thanks all to for attending these sections. Have a nice day, and wish you advance happy Independence Day. Thank you.
Thank you.